If you served in Korea or Vietnam, there's a real chance the VA owes you money you never claimed. Not a loophole, not a trick. Benefits you earned that have simply been sitting there for years because nobody ever walked you through how to go and get them. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. This is the step-by-step in plain English on how to claim the VA payout you missed. Before we start, let me clear up what missed payout even means, because it's really two different things. The first is a benefit you qualify for but never filed for at all. The second is back pay, money that should reach back years, sometimes decades. Once your claim is finally approved, we're going after both. Stay with me to the end, because I'll show you the one obstacle that stops a lot of Korea and early Vietnam veterans cold, and exactly how to get around it. Let's start with what you might actually qualify for, because this is where most veterans count themselves out for no reason. If you served in Vietnam, you likely already know the name Agent Orange. For a long list of conditions, the VA does not make you prove your illness came from that chemical. They presume it. That's the key word. If you were there and you have one of the listed conditions, the connection is already accepted. But here's what a lot of people don't know. Korea counts too. If you served in a unit in or near the Korean Demilitarized Zone, the DMZ, between September of 1967 and August of 1971, the VA presumes you were exposed to those same herbicides. That means you get the very same treatment as a Vietnam veteran. Same presumed exposure, same list of conditions. No need to prove the chemical caused your illness. For years, Korea veterans were left out of this conversation, and many still have no idea they're covered. And if you're not sure whether your unit counts, don't guess and don't rule yourself out. The VA keeps a list of the units recognized as serving in or near that DMZ during those years, and a service officer can check your unit against it in a few minutes. Places like Camp Casey are among the ones tied to this. If you were anywhere along that zone in those years, it is worth having someone actually look. And what's on that list? Type 2 diabetes, ischemic heart disease, the most common kind of heart trouble, Parkinson's disease, several cancers including prostate cancer, and more recently high blood pressure, plain ordinary hypertension. If you served in either place and you're living with one of these, that door may already be open. Now, there's a second group I don't want to leave out, and that's our Korean War veterans from the early 1950s. For you, there's a different kind of missed payout that almost nobody talks about. Cold injury. The frostbite and the deep cold so many endured over there did lasting damage, and the effects show up decades later. Nerve damage in the feet and hands, arthritis in the parts of the body that froze, skin problems and circulation trouble in those same areas. The VA recognizes cold injury as connected to that service, and yet thousands of veterans never link today's foot and nerve problems back to those freezing winters. If that's you, this is money you may have been owed for a very long time. And here's a piece worth knowing. Once a cold injury is service-connected, the conditions it leads to can be claimed too. The nerve damage, the arthritis, even certain skin cancers that form in the old frostbite scars, each one can be added, and each one can raise your overall rating. So a single cold injury can open the door to several connected claims, not just one. And let me put the stakes in plain terms, because this is not small money. A VA rating runs from 0 to 100%, and the payment climbs as the rating does. Even a rating in the middle can mean well over $1,000 a month, tax-free. A high rating can mean several thousand a month. Now add years of back pay on top of that, and you can see why this is worth the effort. For a lot of veterans, the claim they kept putting off turns out to be the largest single check of their whole retirement. Now, before I give you the steps, let me tell you about that one obstacle I promised, because if it happens to you, it can feel like a dead end, and it isn't. Back in 1973, there was a fire at the National Personnel Records Center, and it destroyed the service records of millions of Army and Air Force veterans from exactly this era. So if you go to file and you're told your records were lost in that fire, do not give up. That is not the end of your claim. There are other ways to prove your service and where you were. Unit records, pay records, what were called morning reports, and statements from the men you served with, what the VA calls buddy statements. The VA also has a duty to help you fill those gaps. A lost file is a hurdle, not a wall, and a good service officer knows exactly how to climb it. All right, here's the step-by-step. Step 1, and this is the move almost nobody knows to make. First, file an intent to file. Before you gather a single document, you tell the VA you intend to file a claim. The second you do, they lock in your date. And this matters more than almost anything else because your back pay counts from the date your claim starts. So the sooner that clock begins, the more you can be owed. You can do this over the phone, online, or with a service officer, and it holds your place for a full year while you get everything together. Do this first today if you can. Step 2, figure out what you're claiming. Go back through that list. If you served in Vietnam or near the Korean DMZ in those years, look at the presumptive conditions. If you're a Korean War veteran, look hard at cold injury and everything it may have caused. Make your list of every condition you're living with that might connect. Don't rule anything out yet. That's the officer's job, not yours. Step 3, gather your evidence. It really comes down to two things: proof of your service and a diagnosis. For proof of service, that's your discharge paper, the DD-214, if you have it. If it was lost in the fire, this is where those buddy statements and unit records come in. For the diagnosis, that's a doctor's record showing you actually have the condition. Remember, for the presumptive claims, you are not proving the cause. You're only showing you were there and that you have the illness. Step 4, file the claim, and do not do it alone. This is where a veteran service officer earns their keep, and their help is completely free. They know these presumptive rules, they know the Korea dates, they know how to handle a fire-damaged record, and they know how to word a cold injury claim so it lands. Filing with one of them is the single smartest move you can make. Step 5, the C&P exam. The VA may send you to a compensation and pension exam where a doctor confirms your condition and how severe it is. Don't skip it and don't downplay it. Describe your worst days, not your good ones, because they're measuring how much this truly affects your life. That exam often decides your rating, and your rating decides your check. Step 6, and this is where the missed payout really lives, the back pay. For Agent Orange claims, whether from Vietnam or Korea, there are special rules, sometimes called NAMER, that can send your effective date reaching back much further than a normal claim, in some cases all the way to when you first could have filed, even decades ago. So when you sit with your officer, ask this exact question. Ask, given my exposure and when my condition was recognized, how far back can my effective date go? That single question can turn 1 year of back pay into many years of it. Step 7, if you were ever denied before, do not treat that old no as final. The rules have expanded over the years, especially under a recent law called the PACT Act. Conditions that weren't covered when you first tried may be covered now. You can file what's called a supplemental claim, especially with a new medical record. A lot of veterans who were turned away years ago are winning today. And step 8, this one is for families. If the veteran in your life has already passed, the story may not be over. In many cases, a surviving spouse can still file and can receive back pay that the veteran was owed, plus survivor benefits of their own. So if you lost your husband or your father, and he served in these places and never claimed, it is still worth asking. That money doesn't always die with him. Now, let me be fair with you so you have the honest picture. Not every condition qualifies and every veteran service is different. This isn't automatic money for simply having served. But if you were in Vietnam or near that Korean DMZ in those years, or you carried cold injury home from the Korean War, there's a very real chance the VA already owes you something and has for a long time. The only thing standing in the way for so many is simply not knowing and never asking. So here's what to do today. Find an accredited veteran service officer, which costs you nothing. Put in that intent to file to start your clock. Bring your list of conditions and whatever service records you have. And if the fire took them, say so, and let the officer help rebuild the picture. You have waited long enough for this. There's no reason to wait one more day. If this helped you, do one thing for someone who served. Send it to a Korea or Vietnam veteran you know, or to the family of one, because there's a real chance they're sitting on a payout they never knew was theirs. One honest note before I go.
I'm not a lawyer and I don't speak for the VA. This is general information, not advice about your personal claim, and the rules can change over time. For your own situation, sit down with an accredited veteran service officer or a veteran service organization. Most will help you at no cost, and they'll know your case far better than any video can. Thanks for spending these few minutes with me. Go make that first call. See you.